how do you deal with physics? I mean, what do you say to a person out there that says, you know, I don't want to do this because I can't do physics? What do you say to that person?
Oh.
Oh, okay. Austin?
Well, a lot of what you learn in physics or what's learned in physics, you've already dealt with in probably some other form of math. So, I mean, there are several new things, but a lot of it you can just apply. What you've already learned, you can apply to this.
Okay.
So it's not that hard.
Hold on. What did you say?
So it's not that hard.
That hard, but it is hard.
Yes, it's hard.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's hard enough.
But it's not like hard to the point where he said, I don't know how to do physics. So it's not to that point.
So it's not like string theory or something?
I don't know.
Okay. Is it quantum mechanics? Is that hard?
Quantum wave function is.
Okay.
I guess that's.
I'm not saying it's not hard. I'm just
Yeah, I
saying to the point
understand.
where he said,
Context.
It's like doable.
So-
cannot do it.
So it takes math as well?
Yes.
Math as well. Caitlin, you had something you want to say?
Are you saying that he said he can't do it because he doesn't know how to?
To the person who says, I'm not even willing to go there because it's too hard. What do you say to that person?
You just have to break it down and start from the beginning. You're not going to dive right into like quantum physics. You're going to start with the easy stuff. Like we started scientific notation.
Yeah.
And now we're at where now is.
So it's one step at a time.
Yeah, and you just have to work through it. And it's hard, but if you keep persevering and keep doing it and be diligent.
Sounds like a life lesson, perhaps.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just
Okay. Is there a more general area? Okay. Elias, then Emily, sorry. Elias?
So if I'm understanding the question right, it's too hard, I don't want to do it.
I don't even want to go there.
Alright,
I'm going to change course out of my instruction in my high school instruction because it's too hard. What do you
So-
say to that?
trying to make physics sound easier is not going to work because as soon as you get into it, it's going to be equally hard. You just have to kind of do what's hard.
So you're advocating the honest approach?
Yeah.
Hey, that's refreshing. Okay, be realistic and honest. Okay, there's that honesty word again. Is that thematic for today? Perhaps. Okay, so be honest. It's going to be hard work. It's building blocks. It's one step at a time. Emily?
I would say I can encourage people to do physics. And I just asked them two questions, like, why? What do you mean by you can't do it, and why?
So I tell you something, and you turn around and ask me two questions. That's your response?
Basically, I'm pulling a Socrates.
Okay.
So-
Who's Mino?
That'd be.
Can physics be taught? Right? Integration challenge 3. Can physics be taught? So listen to Emily. I think you're trying to understand what the image bearer is going through, trying to get down to the root.
Yeah, because if they say like I don't understand this one concept, then you can look at it. If they just say like it's not my priority right now, then look at your priorities and find out if it is or not, like type of thing.
Okay, so let's change the question here just a little bit before we get started. This is warm up. Okay? You're at a family reunion. Extended family reunion. Okay? Extended. You're at the fried chicken line with potato salad,
That'd be me.
sweet tea, and Maryland crab soup.
Ooh, I
Okay.
like that.
And it's August, crabs are in, you know the story. So a parent comes up next to you and says, I hear you're doing high school physics. You know, I've got little ones that are coming up. I'm not going to even go there because I couldn't do it myself when I was a teenager, etc., etc., or I didn't even have it. What thoughtful words would you offer to that adult in that situation?
My mom can't do it either.
Okay. So seriously, if you're going to say my mom can't do it either, what do you say to that? So, my mom can't do it either. So she walks away saying, "Oh, thank you very much. I knew I was right in my choice of going down that road." Would you leave it at that, Ethan? Would you leave it at that? My mom can't do it.
I might explain a little bit.
Would you explain it a little bit?
It depends on if they walk or how fast they're walking away.
How fast your mom's walking.
Let's integrate this back to the Al Mahler thing, right? Mahler talks about telling the whole story. So would you be obligated to tell the whole story there, Ethan? You might leave her in a misconception state, right?
Well, no.
Give her half the picture.
Okay, so
Because the
satire
father
aside, I would explain that
Yeah.
it's a self-taught course at this point,
Yeah.
and you don't have to know the physics in order to be able to teach the physics, or even sometimes help them. You can just kind of skim the lesson, basically just read them the lesson again, give it another perspective. They'll be able to figure it out themselves.
My mom doesn't know it, but I'm self-taught. Is that what the basis of what you're saying?
Yeah, basically.
Basically. Emily, and then Caitlin, and then Abby.
And I'd say it's okay. And if you really want to learn it, you can do it. You can reclaim your education as an adult.
Yeah.
It's something that you can do if you really want to put the time into it. But if you feel like you can't do it, your kid can't do it because you can't do it, kind of going off of what Ethan was saying, if they're stuck, you can just ask questions. Okay, so like, what is this?
Right.
How does this compare to what you already learned? Just like go down the canons of rhetoric and ask all those questions. And then usually, if your student's been like going along and they don't have huge gaps,
Right.
it's pretty easy to figure out what exactly is going on.
Okay. Thank you. Caitlin.
Are they doing a classical method? Are they in public school? Or what kind of education
Yeah.
are they doing?
So exploring where they're at. Excellent.
Yeah.
Because it depends. Because if they're in high school, public high school, they typically also have a teacher walking them.
Yeah.
And then if they take the classical method, like a lot of it, at this point, a lot of it is self-taught, and we've learned to self-teach. It's not
Yeah.
over time, and that.
And there are
Right.
DVDs to help.
Okay.
Right, there are, and I wouldn't say to limit them because we didn't do it.
Because you didn't do it.
Right.
Exactly.
So don't limit them by your own experience.
Right.
Okay. Abby.
I would say I didn't think I would do it, be able to do it either. I mean, you have to push yourself, and once you've done it, you have this sense of pride that, oh, I accomplished this. So you just kind of have to push through the whole thing of, oh, this is going to be hard, because it is going to be hard, but you need to push and overcome that.
Okay. And Maddie, do you have something you want to say? Okay. Thank you. So consider those things. You know, there's an analogy that Lewis uses in this text, as well as Nancy Piercy in Total Truth. And it's an analogy between man and God, that water in a stream can't rise higher than the stream. Right? So you remember that. So Piercy, who I think she got the analogy from Lewis, and Lewis says it in here, that's an analogy used in modern education today. It's a master-teacher relationship, that the teacher is the master, it's the source, and that you got to go to the great teacher to get the knowledge to rise up to that level. And that's fallacious thinking. That's faulty thinking. And that's in the minds of many of us, including parents. That's part of what's behind that, along with fear and all those other things that you can help dissuade and push away by light, by adding words. But it's that so you brought that out today in this little conversation, that it's the tools of learning, that you can indeed do this because you've learned the tools of learning, and you're going to far outpace your parents and others as well, because you know how to learn. You have the tools. You're equipped, and you're applying that. As Dorothy Sayers says in her Lost Tools article, that this subject, right, is the grist of the mental mill of your minds. So it's the grist. It's being used to churn out the fine product. So it's just the subject. When I did that Woodbridge CC, as you know, a couple years ago, one of the moms became the Challenge 4 director after I left. I found out years later. It blessed my heart. I saw her a couple weekends ago when I was out there talking to the Northern Virginia folks that I love. And I said, so, tell me the story. And the Lord was speaking to her about being a Challenge 4 director. And in that talk with 20, 25 parents, I held up a physics book. I said, don't be afraid. You can do this, right? It's doing hard things, right? As parents, we want our kids to do hard things, but guess what? We got to do them too. It's by example. We serve a God that it's by example. Christ came by example. So I said, how's physics? You know, he says, I sit down and I go over it and I go over it and I go over it and go through grammar and stuff until I get it. She said, it's going well. I was like, wow, you mean it's working? I was like, yeah. But she's doing it. She's doing it. So if someone does it, it can be done. Right? It's not impossible.